You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and folks, we saw the Conspiracy Smokeshow Tiffany Baxter on this show. This woman right here, in a very prominent and very dominant fashion of an opponent, Miss Michelle Losa, aka Miss Texas Sweets.
Hey guys.
What is going on, Michelle? First and foremost, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, even though I have a shitty podcast. Let's just get this out of the way.
Thanks for having me on your shitty podcast.
Just for the record, and we'll go through this. So it's funny because, and I'll say it from my part, because I'm Switzerland in this, but there's a lot to talk about here. So Michelle and the Conspiracy Smoke Show, Miss Tiffany Baxter, had a bout at Redneck Brawl, which, first of all, congratulations to you on your victory. Let's put that into the forefront. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
And we'll have the fight here as well for context in today's podcast, folks. But I wake up and there's this whole storm of just from the verbal standpoint, and then I see a little bit of a screenshot from this one going back and forth with Tiff talking about your shitty podcast, and I thought to myself, okay, there's context here. It's not aimed at me, and I know it was aimed mostly at her because of just her portion of the podcast. So
not mostly, it was all towards her.
I know I'm setting it up, but mainly the vast majority was towards Tiffany, but I know it was not for me, so you're totally fine. I just want to get that into the forefront.
Sorry.
You're okay, but I will say I'm delighted to have you because this woman has been doing a lot of great things, and we will get into that in today's forum. But the big talk was this bout with Tiffany, which again, once more, congratulations. You did your thing. It was a one-rounder, and Tiffany wound up bowing out after the first round, which we will show the fight in 2 seconds here. But let's start at the beginning here. Redneck Brawl. I got to say, great promos between the two of you. I was excited for the build. Can we talk about the promo here first? Because you were batting and just ready to take down some bitches, man. You were ready to go wild. Let's talk about that promo because it was great. I got to put that over.
Miss Texas Sweets here, and I do bake for a living. Hey, Conspiracy Shit Show. You called out Texas, and you got the right one. What you're fixing to realize is that you shouldn't have done that.
No. Oh, she's scared to death. I would be too. Look at that. This is Club Comical. She's like, man, stop. I said no, don't hurt me.
Man, that was fast.
Patty cake, beat a bitch up. Oh, hey there, Cupcake.
I bake sweets for a living, and I have a perfect recipe to knock your ass out and send you right back to Kentucky 2-1. So you better be ready, bitch.
Come get you some, bitch. Get your pinata popped.
Come on, bitch.
Come on, get you some. Bye-bye.
Definitely. So doing those promos, honestly, I'm much more better doing them with myself, by myself, instead of doing them in front of somebody. So I actually had Chris, the promoter of Redneck Brawl. I guess I met him up in Arlington, and he was able to do my promo. Like, he was there recording the promo that they had shared for me. And that was kind of hard because I was like, I don't know what to say. He was telling me, oh, say this and say that. And I'm like, what did you say to say again? So it's kind of hard doing it in front of someone else as opposed to me just propping up my phone and being like, you know what, nobody's watching, let me just do it here. I got kind of camera shy, and having him there just was like, you know, I didn't know what to say. I don't do a lot of talking. I usually just let my hands do the talking and just leave it at that. But he was able to piece up, you know, parts and, you know, of what I was saying. And I mean, it looked pretty decent. It wasn't too bad. But then I had my own, and I shared my own because I was like, you know what? I don't really like this one too much. Let me just do my own.
Hey y'all, Miss Sweets here representing Texas. I'm actually calling out Miss Conspiracy Shit Show. She thinks that us Texas girls ain't got what it takes to beat her ass. And I'm here to show her that these hands are ready. come get you some on August 3rd. I don't mind beating your ass and show you us Texas girls got what it takes.
Well, I will say this. I was highly entertained, and I like your style too as well. I'm more of the action as opposed to just the talking and being in front of the camera. It reminds me of, and I'll put this out to the wrestling fans that listen to this podcast. It's like former professional wrestler Taz in ECW. I don't need a weapon. My hands are my weapons. That's literally what it is. That's the style. I like it.
Definitely.
But that's the thing too here, Miss Michelle. It's what's great about it too, as well as the character, which is very much the attire and the persona, the aesthetic that is Miss Texas Sweets. I mean, just the fact that you could kick ass and take names, but you also like to make treats at the same time. That is a character, and that is a great moniker in itself for number one. But number two, you bring the factor and you go into this fight. You're very much excited. You're taking pictures all around. It's galore. Talk about when you get there, because the weigh-in was definitely something to see between the two of you. What were your thoughts going into the weigh-in and what we got to see in that dynamic?
She's on the feet. Her opponent, Miss Texas Sweets. She called out Texas. Miss Texas Sweets answered. Because Oklahoma would answer. Texas would answer. Miss Sweets did from Texas. Yep, Michelle Rodriguez.
The nicest bitch's cake, y'all.
So tell us what's up. What do you think? Tell them what's up.
Yeah, you do. She asked for a good fight and somebody who could fight, so she's gonna get it.
Yeah. I think I know my favorite part of the Good job. We got the prettiest card ever. That ain't no shit. Come on! Get you some!
Yeah, definitely. You're talking about the face-offs, right?
Correct. Face-off, yes.
Yeah, because the face-off with the weigh-ins were, I want to say they were different time than I can't even remember. I've been hitting the head too much, but yeah. So at the face-offs, well, I guess what was it? Was face-offs or was it? I can't remember which one's first. I believe it was the weigh-ins that were first, and then it was the face-offs. Well, whenever I first seen her, I can't remember which one it was, either the face-offs or the weigh-ins. I didn't immediately go to her. Honestly, I'm just the type of person that I won't talk to you unless you come to me and you talk to me, which there was a lot of fighters, mostly guys. They were like, oh, make sure you say hi. And I'm like, yeah, I'll say hi. But usually I'm not the one that, makes the approach first. Usually it'll be somebody else coming to me, and then I can, talk to somebody freely. But usually if nobody says hi to me, I kind of read the room and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to stay here in this spot. So that's what I did. And there was a lot of people there, so I didn't know who were the fighters and who weren't, but I thought it was pretty cool since I'm a, big fan of some of the people that, do fight. And I seen some of them. I seen her from afar. She was actually, I heard her before I seen her. I had gone to the restroom, came back, and then I'm like, I don't see her anywhere. And then my husband's like, oh, you don't see her, but you could definitely hear her. And I was like, where? And he's like, it sounds like she's over there somewhere. So I was looking, and she was closer by the ring. And so that's whenever I had seen her. She was, I guess, talking to other people, stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't really talk to her or say anything to her. She never went back there where I was, to come say anything to me, which I don't expect her to at all. I've heard her, I heard her interview, and, usually before the fight, it's like, I'm not your friend, we're enemies. But I didn't take any of that serious. It really wasn't serious to me, the interviews or anything like that, except for, after the fight, stuff like that. But did see her right before the face-offs. I guess they had gotten my, my corner wrong. I'm representing Texas. They had me on Oklahoma side and they had her on Texas. And I'm like, that's definitely not going to fucking happen. I was like, I'm not representing Oklahoma. So I just went to them and I told them, and they're like, oh yeah, she needs to be on the opposite side and you're going to be on that side. So I was like, okay, cool. So that was the first interaction that I had with her. And I was like really close up to her and I was like, hey, I think they had a mistake. You're going to be on that side. And she's like, oh, okay. And she just stood there and I was like, yeah, you go on that side. And then she hugged me really quick and it was just real quick encounter. And then she went on to her side before, we did our face-offs. And honestly, I mean, it was my first time doing it. I didn't know what to expect. I did see some of the other guys that, had their face-offs and getting tackled and stuff. That was pretty big for me. I didn't like that, but I mean, hey, everybody does, whatever they want to do. But then that made me kind of, it kind of taken me back. And I was like, well, you know what if she does that? I got to be ready just in case, she decided to do that. Because when one of the guys had come back after he tackled somebody, I was like, is this real? And he's like, hell yeah, it's real. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. So hopefully I was hopeful that she wouldn't do that. And she didn't. It was more of a laid back situation. And again, being in front of all the people, it was still hard for me, to come up with something to say. She didn't say too much. Honestly, I didn't really hear her because it's kind of like, you have all these people in front of you and you're just like, dang, what do I say? And it goes blank to me. So whenever they said, oh, Miss Texas, what do you have to say? And I'm like, I was like, well, I mean, she asked for a good fight and she asked for somebody that knew, pretty much knew how to fight or knew what they were doing. And I'm going to give it to her. And that's pretty much all I said. And then right after that, she kind of just grabbed me and was like, oh, we got the prettiest fight card. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, she's pretty nice. And I know she's, holding back a little bit too, because of, how she is as well about, before the fight, it's game time. But yeah, it wasn't too bad in person before the fight, actually, or even after the fight. And in person anyway.
First off, I will say from your standpoint as well, this one made a hell of an entrance going into there as well. I got to say, I love the red. I love the attire, the red, the blue, everything that really went into that. You look good. Let's put that to the aesthetic there. You're very welcome. But here's the thing. Sometimes when you're in this, and it could be very intimidating, and I completely agree where you're coming from. When you have a mic in front of your face and then all of a sudden just boom, out of the blue, you want me to say something. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel you. I mean, if you're in that stance because it's Texas versus Oklahoma, you could have just said, fuck your musical and your Sooners, Boomer Sooner this. And it's wanted to do it like that in the most bluntest of terms. But I always found out, what I love the aesthetic of too is like, if you watch pro wrestling or you watch fighting, think of like something that will give you immense heat, like make fun of the hometown, make fun of the local sports team. That'll get you like instantly. But I got to say what you did and what everything that was the overall presentation, because when we go into anything, whatever art form, whatever craft that it is, it's all about the representation of your presentation, ladies and gentlemen. And I think you really held that up to your own. And then we get to the fight, and my goodness gracious. So we're going to put that on the screen now here, and then we'll get into the context of what happened after the fight, and then we're going to talk about some sweetness up in here. And I'm talking about this one with the treats. My goodness. So you're very welcome. Let's get into this, because this is for pure context, and shout out to Redneck Brawl, because my goodness, the crowd was ecstatic and the commentary, everything was on point here. So we will go to the aforementioned bout with Miss Texas Sweet and Tiffany Conspiracy Smokeshow Baxter. Here it is right to the side here on the Redneck Brawl Instagram page. Let's watch this together for some context.
Through the grapevine that her husband or boyfriend is a trainer. So
she looked like she could stomp some fucking dick in the dirt.
I'd like to think she got something going on.
Oh, yeah. Conspiracy spot.
Oh, shit.
Now she's getting wobbled. Like she ain't. But that's what it usually looks like when she fights girls.
100%. Tables have turned.
She just got to land some good ones. Don't wrestle around. No wrestling. No wrestling.
This is going to be a good one. All right, let's go, girls. She's baiting her. She's looking for that counter punch.
Yeah.
There it was.
That's all she's doing. She's waiting for that counter punch. That's all she's doing. She's just waiting for counters.
Yeah. Setting it up. Look, watch, she'll bait her.
Yep.
Wants her to throw.
And then she'll throw that left hand over the top.
Get her to throw.
See? What just happened?
I think she stopped. Conspiracy just backed out.
Well, I ain't never
She
seen
met her
that.
match. Her eardrum.
All righty. So, first off, wow, I'm going to put this over here. That right to the boom right here. And I saw this on pay-per-view, folks. So I personally was invested into this bout between the two of you and doing the interviews and just watching this. I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. So I equate it to, and I look at it like this. I admire any athlete that wants to do this because first and foremost, I got to say it's the toughness, the conditioning, the discipline, and the hard work that goes into it first and foremost. I look at it like this, like when CM Punk, well, like we've seen from many people from MMA and wrestling transition, from like your Brock Lesnar's, your Ken Shamrocks, your CM Punks. When CM Punk went in there against Mickey Gall in his first MMA fight, I'm going to say it, and this one loves this word, and you know where I'm going with this, Miss Michelle. CM Punk got mollywopped. Got mollywopped, like literally got mollywopped. But CM Punk came back after that. He had the fight with Mike the Truth Jackson, and that was it for CM Punk in UFC. He went back to wrestling. And Dana White and many of the people in MMA say, hey, I admire him for doing this, but he should not be fucking doing this because it's wrestling. But else at the end of the day, I think with Tiffany, and I'm going to say it on her side, I look at it, again, I see it from both sides, and I see it from your side as well, and I love getting your perspective on this. It's the factor of she does do the gyms, and she's posted the training stuff on her Instagram as well, much like yourself with the, first off, shout out to Average Joe's, man. I saw that your coach Julio, my goodness, I love find us at a boxing club, man. Hell yeah. Let's just talk about this for a second on the sidebar. Average Joe's, I love that.
Yeah, so my dad's name is Joe. When we were younger and I used to fight, my dad asked us what we thought a good gym name would be. We absolutely love dodgeball, so we love the movie and it's awesome. So we were like, oh my God, that would be awesome to name the gym that. And my dad's like, okay, we'll do it. And I'm like, really? So we were able to name the gym. It stayed open for a few years. I had gotten pregnant at an early age and I wasn't fighting. So my sister would go and help my dad at the gym here and there, but my dad was a pretty good coach. He doesn't coach anymore, but my brother-in-law took over the gym. Well, it was closed for a while. Then he reopened it and took over. And I just had recently started helping him do that. So that's where the Average Joe's comes from. My dad's name is Joe.
First off, and as far as you talk about being pregnant at an early age, God bless, because I know you're a mom, and God bless, because that is wonderful. That is a true blessing. God bless to you and your family.
Yes, thank you.
Very welcome. And first off, that popped me huge, because as soon as I saw Average Joe's and doing research for this interview, I'm like, does she got a pirate named Steve? Gar, Steve, and we got all of them, man, from Average
Gar.
Joe's. Gar, Peter. Like that whole entire movie. And yes, folks, I know it's 20 years old, but it's still a freaking classic. Like, how can you not love Dodgeball? Oh my God.
Definitely.
That Stiller's Dwight Goodman friggin' takes that bite of chicken. Fucking Chuck Norris.
My milkshake brings on the voice. Or that. Oh yeah, that's what it is. I was like,
oh God, the We Will Rock You.
Oh yeah.
That whole entire thing. And how funny is it that Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor were like actually married? Like now, that's great.
And I didn't even know that until like years later. And I'm like, oh my God, they're actually really married.
Oh my goodness. I think that, and just the fact that like even if you look at her earlier work from her in The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, like, and she's dressing like Madonna, like, oh my goodness, like so funny. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's that stuff. And I think what I also love about the name is we can get our influence from anywhere, right? From the influx of pop culture and the influence of that. I think it's great to see that, and naming after your father. I think that's wonderful. The family inspiration, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
And so we go from the family inspiration to the inspiration of just getting up, knocking down and dragging some people, molly-whopping, splitting wigs, if you will, like your 6'3" Mafia. So we go from this fight, and then even to some more verbal exchanges afterwards. Tiffany had mentioned training at the gym. And I mean, again, giving kudos to her for getting in there. And I know the simple thing from my aspect and from the exchange, and I will say this, and again, I'm Switzerland, but my perspective on the whole thing, and I'll say this to you, and I say this with the utmost sincerity and respect to anyone listening to the show.
Oh, yeah.
He could have just said, like, okay, I lost, pick my chin up, dusted myself off, boom, move on to the next, which I know she has said now. I know she has later stated that, if I'm getting that correctly. She admitted it. Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't know. I'm
okay, fair enough. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get my timeline straight. Thank you. So the Purple Exchange goes after this, and I'll let you start it out first because this just turned into a thing. Go ahead. I would like to hear your perspective and your feedback.
Yeah, definitely. So after the fight, we had I guess let me start prior to the fight.
Okay.
We didn't have any issues. Everything was great. I had noticed that because I was following her. We were both following each other. I liked her stuff. I even gave her some tips about sharing, on social media. And she did the same for me as well. Like not to, share my promo just yet, send it to Redneck Brawl before it's shared. So I was like grateful for that too. And then I, gave her like one tip about how, sharing and stuff like that she can get more people to, what is it called?
Promote and social media marketing.
Yeah. And get her some money so she can, not have to spend out of pocket to get there and stuff like that. So very respectful to each other. I didn't have any issues with her at all. I was actually a fan. Me and my sister actually really liked it. Redneck Brawl, and we enjoyed watching her fights. And so everything was great. Then the fight before the fight, I had noticed that she had posted something about medical, which, honestly, I don't know, what was wrong with her, but I felt like that was something that, because she knew about my experience. I did not tell her personally, but I can say that I did tell the promoter, and that's the reason why he called me, because he's like, oh, this is going to be great. This will be great for her, because, she had requested somebody, and even in, in one of the fight videos that said that she had requested for somebody that knew how to fight. She wanted somebody that knew how to fight and could give her that challenge. So that was me. And so, so everything was great. The fight happened. I noticed that before the fight. So it kind of made me feel like she was, I don't know. It kind of made me feel like she was setting herself up because she knew she would lose, or she was doubting herself is what I should say. And I mean, I don't do stuff like that. If I'm going to doubt myself, it's going to be, hey, in the mirror, or talking to somebody that I know. It's not going to be put out there stating, oh yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose. I got nervous before the fight. That's normal. I can state that honestly. And I thought she'd have a reach on me. I thought she'd put up a good fight because she was so much taller than me. You can barely tell in the actual fight because we're both, kind of leaned over, and even in the face-offs, she was kind of hunched over, and so was I, and so you could barely tell. But she had a whole head on me, pretty much. So I thought she would, put up a good fight. I honestly thought she would hit really hard, which would kind of take me back a little bit and not make me want to hit, keep coming in. But, after the fight happened, I was like, okay, well, this wasn't really a great fight. It wasn't a match, and I can say that. But honestly, prior to the fight, I thought it would be a good fight. She has a longer reach than me, and I thought that's how she would get me. I know that on her interview, she did state that, I had to take back on flexing online and stuff like that, because if she's seen that, or if anybody else saw that, because two girls had backed out or something, to me, that made me want to call her out. Because I'm like, okay, that's competition for me, thinking that maybe she would be able to hit harder or something. But it doesn't always mean that the stronger one's going to win. Obviously that's not how it goes. So I honestly, and to be honest, she had asked me too. She's like, have you been training, girl? I was like, no, I haven't. 2 weeks prior to that fight, because I was waiting for them to call me, because he called me and he was like, yeah, well, let me try to get it approved since you have previous experience. And the rules are, you know, you just can't have, you can't be pro. You can't be a professional, which I've never fought professional in my life. So, and I hadn't trained like me physically, actually getting in a gym and training and running. That's what it takes to be inside that ring. You have to run. You have to run for years. And I knew I wouldn't be ready to be, you know, put in the ring. But I was like, you know what? Let me take this chance. Honestly, I didn't think they were going to call me. I was surprised. Everybody was surprised. I was like, heck yeah, they called me. I can't believe this. But they called me because of my experience. He's like, this is great. This is great for Tiff. So, you know, let me prove it with her and then I'll get back to you. And so he's like, I will get back to you by the end of this week. And I feel like, I think it was like a week and a half that had passed. And I'm like, nah, she probably didn't approve it, or they probably didn't approve it, or something happened. She, you know, maybe she didn't want to do it, or maybe they didn't want to approve it after all. So I had messaged him and I was like, hey, by any chance, Chris, did you get a hold of the Oklahoma commissions or something like that? He was trying to get the fight approved. And he said, oh, I want to do it in person. So that's what happened. And then he's like, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you about it. So then another few days passed. And then finally he's like, yeah, we went ahead and approved it. I already talked to Tiff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that works out. So, I know I'm kind of flip-flopping here and there, but anyway, so after the fight, she had hugged me and she was like, damn girl. The reason why she stopped was she said that I hit hard. I wasn't throwing fast punches. I know that. Didn't really, kind of tapped her with my right. It's the left hook that I like the most. And so, she felt the left hook, and that's my favorite. I like throwing the left hook. So, and, you know, she kind of made it easy. She didn't really move her head very much to dodge any punches. So it pretty much every time I threw it, it landed. So she was just telling me that I hit really hard, and, that she just couldn't. She said, I'm not going to end up in the hospital like some of these other guys did, because some of the guys, you guys weren't able to see it, but we were able, since we're backstage, we're able to see, you know, some of the guys that, you know, walked out of the ring perfectly fine, and then maybe later on had to get sent to the hospital because of their breathing, because of, you know, other things, maybe their knee or their ankle, something like that. But there was quite a bit of people that actually went to the doctor, had to be seen by an extra doctor because of issues. So she was like, I'm not going to be put in the hospital, or I'm not going to the hospital. So she's like, you are so good. You hit hard, girl. And I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I try to warn you. So yeah, so that happened. And then we went to the back. I got, they were cutting off the wraps off my hands, and she went back there. And I guess, Catfish Cooley was back there getting his hands wrapped for his fight. And she was like, oh, you're a badass. And she was all like, yes, she is a badass. Like, she, you know, we want her back. We want her back. And I was like, oh, that would be awesome. But thanks. And thank you for the experience and stuff like that. And after that had happened, we waited there. We watched other fights, stuff like that. I hadn't seen her anywhere else because the place was really big. I didn't know where she was. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. She was a ring girl. And so we were just watching the rest of the fights and stuff. And then it was time to leave. I noticed that they were packing up really fast. I'm talking about like the ushers, stuff like that. And so, excuse me, as we're walking out, there's a huge poster. And this poster is made of, I mean, it was hard, but it was a sticker. Like, it's a big sticker that was just placed on the wall. And so we asked one of the usher ladies, because she was walking towards us, if they were able to take a picture of all of us in front of the Redneck Brawl poster, which happens to have Tiffany on there. And so she's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take a picture of you guys. So she took a picture of us. And then right after that, we were about to walk away, and she had issues with tearing down the poster. And she had ripped it from opposite side of where we were. She ripped it. It came off. And then we're like, oh, wait, can you take a quick video, or can we take a quick video before you rip it off? And I was like, am I able to rip it off? She's like, yeah, sure. I was like, okay, cool. Because she was already ripping it off. So we went and I ripped it off where Tiffany's face was. There was somebody else's face. I can't remember the guy's name. But sorry that happened. It wasn't towards him. It was just towards her. And it was just a stupid video. Not anything. She called me a sore winner. I don't even think that's a thing, but it was a joke. It was a joke, just joking around. It wasn't anything to me anyway. Let me just be honest about that. To me, I didn't feel like it was disrespectful. It was just joking around for online views, because that's what everybody does. Everybody does that. The guys that tackle each other, that's for online views. You know, all of these people are doing all these things for online views because that's just what they want. I am not afraid to say that. I stated that to her and to other people about, you know, the whole poster situation, because they try to make it seem, or she tried to make it seem worse than what it was online. She said that someone had purchased the poster and they were supposed to take it down, which I felt like there was no way in hell that they were going to be able to take that poster down without getting it messed up. It was legit a sticker in the back. So I was like, there's no way that they were able to get that poster off of there. There'd probably have to be like at least 15 people helping. And the usher lady was already tearing it down. So I was like, you know, I don't know how that was going to happen, but apparently she said that, and that they were pretty much making it sound really bad online, stating that, you know, that's where she drew the line. That's where she was pissed off at me. And then she was mad at me about that. And I ended up getting proof from the actual owner of that poster, the owner of all of that stuff, because she mentioned that I should have her, or some other lady had mentioned something about me being charged with damaging property. And so I thought that was a little far. So I was like, okay, now they're getting a little far and a little serious. So let me just do my due diligence and go in and check to make sure I'm okay. So I did. I messaged the owner of Redneck Brawl, the promoter, and he advised me that he's like, no one purchased that sign. Not from what I know of. No one purchased that sign. That was it. The sign was up there. It did its job. And then he goes, honestly, if we have a problem, he goes, I'm going to contact you directly. He goes, it's not going to go through anybody else. So I had that as a screenshot. It was through text message, and I was able to, go in online and send that on there, because a lot of people were just, I guess, on her side, stating, wow, why would she do something like that? And it was just like, you guys didn't give me a chance to, state on my side. And I tried to kind of explain that to some of the people that were on there, because I'm not about to look like this horrible person just because a sign was ripped that had her face on it. It was dumb. And so I had proof of that. That's what she got pissed off about. But after that is whenever she went on about, my weight. And she said that it wasn't she called me a big back. Where I come from, big back is a fat girl. So she stated that.
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. I just got to put this out here first and foremost. You are gorgeous the way you are. Let's put this out here, because we got a lot of beautiful ladies out here. You're one of them. I say that with the utmost sincerity and respect. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember that's what I actually had to comment on, and I just like the big back. I'm like, that doesn't necessarily mean like, just it's the verbiage, how she said it's the context, it's the inflection of the speech.
Oh, yeah.
So continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, thank you. But yeah, so she called me a big back, and I happened to take a screenshot of that, because I was like, oh, so now the real Tiffany comes out. And see, prior to all that stuff happening, I had, I don't even know when it was, but whenever I was following her, I did. I wanted to get to know, her, and, she had my profile, but most of my stuff was, honestly, it was just cakes on my page that I was following her on. And she just, she had posted something. I don't know when it was. I don't know if it was a while back or not, but something about, I guess, piggybacking on something that Catfish Cooley had posted, and she was, I guess, I don't know, I can't remember. I think she was crying on the video, and she's like, it hurts. I have to deal with people on a daily basis. They're internet bullies, and then what she does usually with the internet bullies, she'll just like their stuff and not give them a time of day after that and stuff like that. But she was crying. She was saying that words do hurt, stuff like that. So that's why I took a screenshot of it. Your comments are definitely, especially online and not to my face, are not going to hurt my feelings. But what I wanted to show everybody is that, the real her came out. And I felt like that wasn't right. Her commenting on my looks, especially being a woman. She didn't like that whenever people were calling her a man. And at first I wouldn't like those comments. I wouldn't give those people the time of day and be like, oh, haha, yeah, she looks like a meth head, or those comments were made. And I never, not once, liked them or, gave those comments attention or anything like that until after she started being the way she was being. And then I would just laugh at it. Now I just laugh at it and be like, oh yeah, whatever. Because I don't like, me personally, I know she stated before that she didn't like bullies. I don't like bullies. I never liked bullies. Ever since I was little, I don't like bullies. I have kids of my own that I've had to deal with bullies with. And again, I train kids that have to deal with bullies on a daily basis. This is the reason why most of these kids come into the gym, because of bullies. So it's like, when she did that, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I felt like instead of going online to say, oh, about the whole poster situation, she could have messaged me. I even messaged her the very next day after the fight. I messaged her and I asked if she was okay. And that was the screenshots that I guess she had sent, or she had screenshot and took of me, which I don't even understand why she shared those. It was literally me telling her exactly what I'm telling you now, is that she was fake as fuck and that I didn't like it. And especially if she didn't have shit to say to my face, everything was so nice. And then she, I guess, brought up the whole poster situation, and that gave her, the confidence to go talk shit online. Then she stated another thing about my husband. Yes, I'm married. He's not my side dude. He's my kid's father. We're married legally. So I didn't like that. I have a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old. They are online. I teach them that everything online it's not real, especially since, I was sitting there ripping a poster. She had all these friends saying, oh my God, is that what she teaches kids? What I teach kids is that not everything is real online. That's what kids should be taught, is that not everything real is online. You shouldn't believe everything you see online, because people do shit for views, and that's simply what it was. So, her doing that, my kids know. I had a conversation with my kids and I'm like, no, your dad did not go and subscribe to her OnlyFans, because that's what she tried to lie about and say that my husband subscribed to her OnlyFans. So she blocked me, and other people were screenshotting that, which is the reason, or the way I found out about the whole, my husband subscribed to her OnlyFans situation. I didn't even ask my husband. I sent him the screenshot of her stating, oh yeah, her husband subscribed to my my OnlyFans, subscribe to my OnlyFans, and what a weirdo and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, now she's taking it up a little notch and commenting personal life on my body, and then now my husband. And anytime somebody that was on my side, or that knows me personally, would comment on her posts, because they were open for anybody to comment on, she would delete them, and she would block them from commenting on anything. She would delete the comment that had any type of proof. So other people would message her and be like, or comment on it and be like, hey, let's see the proof that her husband subscribed to your OnlyFans. Let's see that. And she would just delete that comment, and then it would go from there, and she would block the person. So I'm like, it's just a load of bullshit. She's just really trying to get under my skin. And I mean, honestly, it just made her look bad is what I feel like. It made her look like shit because still, even till this day, the only thing that I can say about her is that she doesn't know how to fight at all. And that'd be something that I can tell her in person. Still till this day, she doesn't know how to fight. I thought she did. I thought she would put up a better fight than she did. And, I'm not a sore loser. I can, or a sore winner. I don't know what the hell that is, but definitely not that. But I can apologize. I did apologize, online because she doesn't live here where I'm at. If she did, I would have a conversation with her in person and not do the whole online stuff. Cause that's where it gets other people involved and other people. And I think that's what she tried to do. She tried to get so many people to turn and not like me. And the problem is before the fight, I don't know any of these people. This is the very first time that I've ever done Redneck Brawl. I had people coming up to me left and right, and they were all men, mostly men. I don't remember any women. I think it was all just the men. And they were like, hey, please, for the love of God, rock her fucking shit. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, sure. I plan on it. Thanks. And I'm thinking they're playing. They're not playing. They're like, literally, we're so tired of hearing her shit. Can you please rock her shit? And it's people that would literally come tell me that. And then they'd go and run back and go and go talk to her. And I'm like, there's men that do that. That's crazy. I didn't think men did that. I thought that would come from women. And there was even people that were from the Oklahoma Commission. The Oklahoma Commission people would even pull me to the side and they're like, please beat her ass. Please beat her ass. People wrapping my hands or assigning my hands or for the, the wraps and the people putting my gloves on. Every person that I ran into was like, rock her fucking shit, dude. I'm tired of hearing her. And it's like, I don't need to make any of that stuff up. This is my first time on Redneck Brawl. I don't know any of these people, but apparently we were training that morning of the fight. And, I had brought my brother-in-law. It's not my husband that does training. I train my husband. It's not that, I don't train anybody pro. We train and my husband does it to stay in shape. And I get my kids to do it because they play other sports and it's really good for them to, be able to handle a bully if they need to, or just stay in shape. And it's
stay positively proactive, right? Just to constantly stay on the grind with sports.
Yeah, definitely. So, I had my kids do that stuff, but I totally went blank. I'm sorry. I knew that would happen.
Totally fine. It's totally fine.
That morning, my brother-in-law, the one that runs the gym, he is the one that was training all of us. So he brought some mitts and then he brought a pair of gloves and then everybody else had their pair of gloves. We went into one of the business sections at our hotel, which she wasn't there. She was in a different hotel. So I guess they have, different opponents in different hotels. So, some of the guys were training there and apparently one of them had recorded me hitting the mitts or he went live, something like that. I don't know what happened, but apparently one of them recorded me and that was going around everywhere to everybody. It got into everybody. And I'm like, the reason how I know that is because everybody came up to me. A lot of people came up to me that I don't know. I don't know anybody here. And I still kept quiet to myself. And they were like, oh my goodness, you're going to beat her ass. Like, you're a freaking badass. Like, this is crazy. I didn't picture you being able to fight like that. I even had one guy say, he's like, I thought they didn't allow pros. And I'm like, I'm not a pro, dude. There's a difference. I'm amateur. And that's why I say online, I'm an amateur. I don't know what she is. I'm an amateur. I don't consider myself pro. So that went around. That even went around to Catfish Cooley himself. And he came to me and he's like, you're a fucking badass, dude. This is going to be a good fight. It's going to be awesome. And I was like, yeah, I'm excited. He didn't say anything negative, just for the record, about Tiffany. He didn't say anything negative about her or anything like that, because I'm giving his name. But I was just saying that he was one of the other people that came to me and was like, dude, you're a badass. And then, so prior to that, when they went in, nobody knew any information about me. That's why even whenever we went into the fight, they stated something about my husband trains people or something like that. And, you know, that's how I knew what I was doing. No, it wasn't. I fought as a kid, and I hadn't fought in 19 years or 18 years just about, and don't train at all. And I had just gotten my coaching license, which is something else that she tried to bring up. And that was something else that was talked about with the promoter. I did tell him that I train kids, especially my kids, because I have to make sure that they're able to handle, you know, themselves if there is a bully. You know, I don't like bullies. I don't like that. And I've had to deal with constant bullying on, you know, on my daughter, on my sons. And so boxing is a major thing that has to happen in our house. And I barely became a certified USA boxing coach, which I am going to say for the record too, just in case these people are listening or able to hear this. They're stating that, oh, you can get in contact with USA Boxing and get her in trouble. I can't. This is not a sanctioned event. It's not something that I can get in trouble for. It was just, as long as we didn't state anything about a personal gym that was, and I didn't mention our gym. I mentioned that we had worked out at a gym one time, but I didn't promote that at all. Like, go and promote it and say, hey, we're training people over here for Redneck Brawl and stuff like that, which Redneck Brawl is different too. They have, you know, we had the Oklahoma commissions. It's not something that just wasn't it's unhinged and there's no rules and you can completely get hurt. They go by rules. They have rules and everything. So that's for the people that, you know, were stating that I can get in trouble and they're trying to get me in trouble. It's like, I became a coach because one of my sons wanted to box and he wanted to take it serious. Before, it was just us training. We wouldn't go to the gym every day. It would just be something for, you know, here and there. My husband was into weightlifting, stuff like that. So I wouldn't go to the gym every day. I was baking. That was my thing. Prior to me doing that, I was working at a auto finance company. And so that's what I was doing with that was a 9-to-5 job. And then on the weekends was my cake business, and I stayed busy. So I never really had time or made time for gym until my son wanted to do it. And so we were going here and there till finally he decided to really take it serious. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to be doing it, then I want to be in your corner. That's my son. I want to make sure that, you know what you're doing. And I want to be in your corner. I'd love that. It's like, whenever I was little, it's like me being able to live that through my son. Boxing was not something that I was going to grow up to do. It wasn't. It's always been cakes, and that's what I'm passionate about. Not saying that I don't love boxing. I love boxing, but it's not something that I wanted to do with my life 24/7. I'm an assistant coach. I help my brother-in-law, and I help him. And as soon as my son does fight, I'll be in his corner. So that's something that, I became a USA boxing coach. If those people want to look it up. They tried to find all kinds of things on me, and I'm like, dude, nothing was found on me, and nothing's going to be found on me because everything was stated. It's just, she didn't like the fact that she said that I had kept things from her. Like, she didn't know that I was a trainer. First of all, being a trainer doesn't make me professional. People made things up stating, oh, semi-professional. What the fuck is a semi-professional? There's two things. It's either you're a pro or you're an amateur.
Yes.
I'm an amateur. And that's what I stated. I don't know what the hell she was. I don't know what she did up there because if you're going to get in a ring, don't play about it, because you can die. You could literally, something can happen to you. I don't like the fact that she's just like, oh, let me get in there and just play around. You can't play boxing. And it's a boxing brawl. If she wanted to go, just with freaking fists, she want to do that, then I could do that too. But I'm going to use my boxing skills for that as well. I just didn't like the fact that everything turned out how everything turned out. And she tried to play me. She tried to play victim and state that, she didn't know that I had any experience, which there was proof. She even had a video, the cupcake video. That was one of my favorites. I freaking love that. I even commented on it. I think I don't even remember. I think I commented
gave it a lot of high praise. You did.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome. I love it. Like, I so love it. And I even, I did a spinoff on her cupcake pinata video, which, I mean, if you look at it, I kind of felt like, okay, we couldn't do anything that had to do with race. He didn't want us stating anything that had to do with race. I'm Hispanic. I'm part Hispanic, part Irish, white. My mom on my mom's side. So I'm just like, I think the piñata kind of was a little far, but it didn't hurt my feelings to the point where I'm going to go and, comment something about her weight or her how tall she was or her appearance or anything. Honestly, I think she's very beautiful. There's nothing wrong with her. I didn't find anything wrong with her. I just don't like the fact of, again, how everything turned out and how she tried to make it seem like, like she was a victim. Like, oh my God, I didn't know she had experience. And she clearly calls me a boxing baker. I stated everything. And if he wasn't completely honest with her, which I believe he was because she knew, then he would have, I think it would have gone a little bit differently. But I mean, if she has some type of proof that she'd like to pull out, I'd be more than willing to explain to her that she was just upset the fact that she didn't know how I fought. But I know she doubted herself because I feel like the whole medical shit of what she was going through, and she had to go through all these hula hoops to try to get a fight. Honestly, I went by the book. I went by all the rules. The only person that didn't go by rules is her. She's 44 years old. You have to be 39, 18 to 39 was what I believe. She wanted to fight. She's 44 years old. She was that apparently 159 point something. So she had to gain some weight in order to fight me. I was at 168. And she was at 161. So 161 to 168, which in boxing, honestly, that's still a big jump. That's still a pretty big jump. But I don't make the rules. That's not on me. They make the rules. I thought the weight category was pretty crazy. That's like 184. Our weight bracket was from 160 to 184. Wow. So if I wanted to, I could have been higher. But I was trying my best to go down as much as possible so that I could be down as much as possible or as close as much as possible to her to make it even more fair. But I was like, you know what? Let me try my best. I didn't eat the day prior. I cut at least 3 or 4 pounds. Of course, my time of the month had decided to come in the wrong, horrible time. So it's like all that shit just came in and I'm like, oh, crap. But honestly, it didn't bother me. The comments that are made about my weight online, you know what? Online, I even say it. I'm like, holy crap, I do look big on that video. But no one's going to get to me that bad to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so ugly and I'm so fat. I love myself. I feel beautiful after having kids. It's not easy. And, I'm not professional. I'm not a professional boxer, but, I still feel like I'm pretty decent at boxing and stuff like that. So no one's going to get to me. You just can't. But I mean, people can try all they want. After she stated something about my weight, then she went back and then she said, no, it was a compliment, with girls in the gym. I know people that are in the gym. That's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. And then I was like, okay. Then she went and she commented again about something else. She said, oh, well, which I have another screenshot of. I love screenshots. It literally, it's like it makes somebody look so stupid. And it did. It made her look stupid because she said that she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get my ass back into the gym. My built, not bought ass is what she stated too. So I was like, okay, so now we're making those comments now. So I was like, okay. So it wasn't something that it's like, I'm not stupid. First of all, I have kids and they don't even act like that. They don't. It's like, you're not going to sit here and talk to me like I'm not stupid. I could read. I see everything online. So I just thought it was funny that she couldn't man up to the shit that she said. Honestly, if I was her, I'm a very humble person. If I were to lose, I'd be like, dude, you're a fucking badass. You're a badass, and I'm going to be back in the ring. And eventually I want to fight like you. I want to be back in the ring, and I'm going to come for you, and leave it at that. I don't like how she was really salty about losing. And then she had her friends in her ear saying that I was stalking her. She had people saying, wow, she's really that fat and blah, 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 this other stuff. She wouldn't comment on any of it. She wouldn't say, oh, I went up to weight to fight her, or them calling me pro. She didn't. They got to look that shit up. I'm not pro. So, and then the whole weight issue, she went up to my weight. I told her how much I weighed. I told her between 165 and 170. I was 168. I came and I was where I was supposed to be at from her knowledge and what I told her. So, I even messaged her that. And so I just didn't like the fact that everything came out and the way she played things. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I don't know if I'm missing anything. There was a lot more things that were said. You'll see me comment stupid shit now. Yeah, because you wanted to be ugly. And now that's definitely what I'm going to be. I match energy. So that's the thing. You're not going to sit here and try to bully me and then think that, oh yeah, she's not going to say anything back. I got videos made that just joke about stupid shit that she said. The big back one, I have something coming for that. And it's about my business. And you know what? It's great because ever since I've gotten, ever since I had that fight and ever since her comments and her screenshots, I've had people buy cakes from me because they're like, that is so ugly of her. I don't like that. Or I've had people set up one-on-ones with me with training. And usually I don't get those very much, but that ever since my fight, I've had more one-on-one set up and also more business with cakes and stuff. People traveling over here to buy cakes from me. So it's like, I don't let none of that stuff get to me. I think that was a blessing for me for them to call me, and it is what it is.
I will say this. First of all, don't apologize for going all over the place. I thank you for giving your side and your perspective on that. Thank you for saying that. But I will say this first and foremost as well. My dome has been rocked as well. Epileptic over here. Somebody give me a Caesar salad. I digress. No, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. All jokes aside, and I agree. But here's the thing that I also took away from that, and I'll say this. I think, like, if you call somebody, and go back to your point about the big back, that would be like going up to a woman and saying Big Bertha. It's like, I know what you mean. You're saying that the girl has a big butt. That's legit what you're equating to. We're not stupid on that front. I look at it like this. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, especially with online, with the social media, everything has to be like this. There's no talking in person, actually having a frank adult conversation. Everything's over the internet. Like you mentioned with the photo coming down and like the little poster, right? Like for me, that would be like, and I'll equate it to, all right, so we'll equate it there because it's storytelling, ladies and gentlemen. It's art. It's promoting the bout. It's really heightening the character, just really amplifying yourself, turning that volume up, if you will, if you don't already have it. That would be like if Mickie James and Trish Stratus and WWE going to WrestleMania. So Mickie James's character was, I'm obsessed with Trish Stratus. I want that women's championship. And she did an angle where she had a shrine of Trish, and then she ripped the photo and said, my new obsession is your destruction. That would be like Trish Stratus getting upset. Why'd you rip that photo of me? That's literally what that would be. That's literally what that would be.
Exactly.
Angle. It's so... I look at it from a stance as well, too, on both sides of things. First of all, I do not tolerate the shaming. I mean, the purpose of this show is beauty, strength, and dominance. It's really heightening the internal and external beauty. And I look at it like this. We see that would be like with people saying LFC, oh, you don't got no love for the big girls. I look at it like this. We have love for all women. Diversity. Diversity is a key component in anything that we do, no matter what sport, adaptation, what have you. It's like we have fighters like a Jolene Hex, or we have someone like a Renee Michelle, the former Roxy Roundhouse Michaels. You could see it over the years in the evolution with this brand. We have a Monica Flowerbomb Garcia, and I'm going to say this right now. She's got the curves, the word spins the verb, no diggity, no doubt, to quote Black Sheep 96. It's one of those things. If we can have a diversity and variety of that, yes, but she can rock it. She can kick some ass. She can take some names, and she looks good while doing it. That's the overall real deal sex appeal side that goes into an LFC and LFL, even a Redneck Brawl. I mean, you heard those commentators, right? The entertainment of that. It's like when the Insane Clown Posse had the Juggalo Championship Wrestling. It's F-bombs on commentary galore. Like, you have that entertainment. So you have everything within that presentation. But unfortunately, stuff like this escalates in today's world where everybody has to do this. But you know what it is? It's the master of disguise. It's Dana Carvey. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do.
What you do? Yeah.
People don't have that ability to just shoosh. But I think in her stance, because I think one of the things I did see of her, and I'm going to have her back on, and I'm sure this topic will be brought up. Her stance is she finally has taken the accountability. Okay, hey, I lost. Now I'm going to get better. And respect that. But my thing is, why couldn't you just say that beforehand and then just have it escalate to where we got to? That's the thing. It's what we see a lot in today's day and age. Whether you're, first of all, sore winner, does that mean like, all right, a Cool and the Gang's playing and you're playing Celebration? Are you celebrating too much? Is that what it is? You're having too much of a celebration? Come on.
I have no idea what that means. That's the first time I've ever heard of a sore winner. I didn't even know that was a thing.
and first of all, you two, and I got to say, like I said, I'm switching on this. I like you both. You two are beautiful ladies. Like you mentioned before, like you two are beautiful ladies. And I saw those comments commenting about meth and crackhead and stuff. I'm like, no, you two are beautiful ladies. Do your thing. But the thing at the end of the day is, too, and I look at it from a stance, anything in life, whether it be win, loss, hardship, triumphs, transition, transmorgify, transformation, we all have our pitfalls, to quote Ice Cube and Until We Rich. There's another pop culture reference for you. There's one of those things that we see in so many dynamics, like we can learn from something. Life is one big lesson. And if you could dust yourself off, boom, here you go. And I got to say this, I didn't see, and I'll say this from my perspective here, because I'm talking to you, I know you, but I didn't see a sore loser. I didn't see a sore winner. I didn't see nothing. I just saw a woman who just had fun, did her thing. You got the crown. It happened. Sometimes things don't go the way you do, but you got the win in the W column. You put the W column for you, which is wonderful. But also at the end of the day with the poster, I will say this. And I understood what you were doing too. As someone who understands the social media saturation, as it is known, you have to do something. It's fun. It's a fun little ha ha he he kind of thing. Right. I understood where you were coming from, but yeah, that stuff like that, you see that in today's day and age. Some stuff gets blown into proportion, but yeah, the main thing is that we both have moved on from this. And I got to say now, I'm going to put this into the forefront here because we mentioned all this. And again, thank you for giving your side. And when we get into some cakes and treats here, but I got to ask you, Miss Texas Sweets over here, now that she's an LFC prospect now, she does get to that training regimen because she is now a prospect in LFC. I got to say, we could possibly do a round 2 of that in LFC. You know what I'm saying? Rock it. If you got it, flaunt it type of vibe, sex appeal, just mollywopping, man. I got to say, I'm going to put that out there, man. Put that to the forefront, man. If LFC wants to ever do like a rematch pitted off the story from Redneck Brawl, there you go. We just manifest and put it into the universe.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can say that I'm up for anything. That'd be fun. That sounds like fun. So
that's what I'm saying. And that's what it is at the end of the day in the entertainment realm. It's fun. And I hope to see you back in Redneck Brawl for a part 2.
Yeah, that would definitely be awesome. Honestly, I don't know how that is. Chris just, he just stated, oh, well, it was nice to meet you. And hopefully we get to see each other again. I was like, oh yeah, sure. That would be fun. I don't know how it works. I don't know exactly. Maybe somebody has to call me out or something like that, but I don't, I get nervous in anything that I do. So I'm going to be nervous no matter what, but that's something that I can state, but I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to back down. And, I know that there's always somebody that's better than me out there. That's something that I teach my kids. That's why they are humble, just like mom is. So, you got to be humble, but at the same time, I know, the shit talking stuff like that's fake, but I honestly feel like your shit talking should match the way you fight in a sense. And I can be honest. I don't think that hers matched what she did in the ring. Well, maybe her other fights, I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, I will say this. I think in this world, united, not divided is a thing. And I hope you two can literally seriously patch this up with everything.
Well, I can be honest. I have patched things up with many people that I've had issues with. This doesn't come close to what I've had to deal with in my life and the people that I've patched things up with. So, I'm totally okay with any of that. I just would like for her to talk to me instead of going to other people about stuff that she has issues with. I'm okay with talking to anybody about any type, or maybe she misunderstood something like the whole poster issue or whatever. Honestly, I don't feel like she was mad at that. I feel like she was salty about the loss, and that's the reason. That is what she gave as an excuse to be mad at me about. So that's what I feel like.
I look at it like this. One other comment I'll make about this before we get into the treats. And I, again, thank you for clearing this up. But I was laughing when you said she thought you had like all like this 20-year experience. I'm like, were you hanging out with Trevor Burbick, Buster Douglas? Were you with Mike Tyson and Robin Gibbons when they were on 2020 with Barbara Walters? Were you hanging out with Foreman, and then were you getting yourself a Foreman grill? That's what makes a hamburger. Is that what we're doing here? You've been around the game.
Foreman girl for 20 years, so that makes me have 20 years.
That's what I was like. I'm like, wait a minute, she's in the trenches. She's right there with Layla Ali, just getting her fight on, sparring. That's what we're doing here.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. But no, that I thought was kind of funny. I put that. That was funny.
I don't know where she got that information from, and that's what I tried to clear up from her, but she was like, no, she was really adamant on saying that I had that experience, which I feel like, all this, the lies and everything like that still go back to her being salty, just like till this day or before she had me blocked or something like that, but she didn't have one of my friends blocked. And of course my friends are going to go look at her shit. Of course, random people are going to go look at her shit and then look at mine and be like, hey, she did this. Maybe you should do this. And I'm like, oh God, where she kept saying, unbothered. First of all, somebody that's unbothered by a situation isn't going to post that. So it's like she's honest. I don't know. She's obviously bothered. And so that to me is like, she's still salty about the whole situation. Now nobody sends me anything now. It's like it kind of died down, but random people were sending me stuff that she would do. And these people I don't even know. And they're like, oh, look at this. I can't believe she would post something like this. And even random people were messaging me, telling me I worship the devil and stuff like that. I was like, it's gone this far. Seriously. I was like, this is crazy. This other guy said, well, y'all's fight isn't a match and you're pro and you're a piece of shit or something like that. And then I go to reply back to him and he blocked me. I was like, who does that? You go talk shit and then you block them so that you don't get a reply. I'm like, wow, that sounds so Tiffany-ish, because she would do the same. She wouldn't let me comment on anything. So that's why I sent her the message that I did, because I was like, well, you don't want me commenting out in public, where everybody else can see. So then I'm going to just message you and tell you how I feel. I thought she was pretty cool. And then her vibe kind of just changed to me. It really did. And I just, I didn't like the whole situation. But if she were to apologize, because I can apologize for the whole poster situation, and not to be, passive aggressive and say, oh, I'm sorry you felt that way. No, right. I'm sorry that it came off that way. I'm a mom. I got to worry about my kids. I have to worry about how I'm looked at as a person to my kids. My kids know me. They know the shit that I posted was all fake. One of them, my son, was recording. So it's like, yeah, mom, I don't like that. Try this or try that. This is what's going to get them. I'm 31 years old. My son is 15 and he's like, yeah, mom, no, that's not what's going to get. That's not what's in. Why don't you do this and this and this? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I thought I would expect that. You posted a post. I got to put this over since you said that. You're making me laugh. The before you fight, where you're like dancing when you're in your attire before the fight, and you're dancing around and then pop the whole thing. That was great with the mollywop under it. Oh, I'm sorry. That made me laugh. I got to put that over.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was funny.
I can do some pretty good videos. I got some pretty good stuff lined up. I've been really busy with cakes and stuff, so I haven't had time to fully just go in and edit and then post some of my posts that I got. But I got some stuff for her that still pertains to her, but it has to do with my business, which my business is my cake business.
Let's talk about it, man. All right. So enough of the drama for your mama. Mary J. Blige's No More Drama album just came out. So there's a nice segue. We don't want a family affair and we don't want no more drama in our life. Boom. Got that out of my system. Now back to M Sweets. First and foremost, credit where credit is due. Once again, chef's kiss. Custom cakes and treats to match. First and foremost, man, Lilo and Stitch. You got some cars up in here. You got Paw Patrol. You got stuff for the kids. You got some nice little Detroit. Oh my goodness, Dallas Cowboys, Detroit Lions. Like, as soon as I saw these, and the links will be into this, by the way, and you'll probably see some images in this portion of the show, folks. I love it. Like, it's cool. I dig. It's very creative. It's good. It's yummy in the tummy, if you will. It doesn't have a good sweet tooth, you know?
And so, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance, and I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Coming now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's.
How about them Cowboys? Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. This is America's team. How about the big Cowboys? Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. How about them Cowboys? Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. This is America's team. How about the big Cowboys? You to welcome your Detroit Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to welcome your Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's something that I've been very passionate about since I was younger. I have always wanted to bake, and I've always been into baking, and I've always wanted to do really cool things like figurines, stuff like that, and I can pretty much do it all. You know, people will send me a video or a picture, and they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like, I can try. Be honest, I can try. I'm not perfect. I fuck up, and that's things that, you know, are okay with me. But eventually I'm going to learn it. I love, I forget his name. Well, it's a hard name to pronounce, but he does chocolate. I'd love to be able to do big sculptures with chocolate. That's eventually is something that I want to turn to do, or not turn to, or just try to do it, you know? And so, yeah, so I'm like really inspired of people that mess with chocolate, that do all kinds of huge figurines and stuff like that. And then they'll put the cake inside. So yeah, so it's something that I've always been passionate about, something that I wanted to do with my life. And that's it.
I do love that, just because not only the fact that, like we mentioned in today's forum, everything's a craft, whether it be on the sports and combative nature side, especially with the baking side of things. First and foremost, I remember in family consumer science class, on the home ec, if you will, as we used to have back in the day, like middle school, like we would make like tater tots and stuff like that. Give me some cake, give me some brownie, a little scoop it up, if you will. Like, I love that stuff, just because not only is it fun and it gives you other things to do, and the accoutrement add to the creativity of cooking, but the side of the fact is, like, you're putting good food out there. First of all, who doesn't love good food and a sweet tooth, like we mentioned? But also at the same time, if you can make somebody happy and you can apply them as your taste tester, if you will, it gives you more of the ingredients of what's good, what's not, and then you mix it all together. And to quote Hannah Montana, you make the best of both worlds, so to speak. So you put it into the forefront, and I like that, because a lot of people they're not the best of cooks, so to speak. We all cannot be that gifted, but to do what you do is not only just credible and just overall admirable, but I think it's wonderful that you're putting that goodness into the world, that goodness, if you will.
Exactly. Oh yeah, definitely. I also I have my kids do it as well. So my daughter, she makes cake pops, stuff like that. I help her, obviously, but my 15-year-old son, he actually sells his, he makes treats and stuff like that. He's not at cakes yet, but eventually that's something that I want to teach him to do. He hasn't come around to that, but he does make cake pops and treats and stuff like that too. So not only do I do it, so do some of my kids. So my son sells at school, so he definitely always has some money on him and some treats on him. But yeah, so we're pretty much my kids baking. They love baking. They love doing it with me too. So that's something else that I enjoy, that I get to share with my some of my kids. one of my other ones, he's into his girlfriend now, and working with my dad. My dad has a roofing company too, so that's stuff that he likes to do to save up money to buy cool stuff, clothes, stuff that's in. So all of my kids work hard. My daughter, she also does. She walks dogs. She walks the neighbors' dogs, so that's how she gets money too. So just a big, hardworking family. I teach my kids, work for your stuff. Nothing comes free. So that's also, things that I instill in my kids to make sure that they know, like, you got to work for the stuff that you want. It's not going to come free.
Oh, I can definitely attest to that. My parents were very much like that, even in today's adulthood. My mom's 4'11", but she's the toughest 4'11" woman in the world. So I completely. Yeah. I'm a mama's boy. It is what it is. Yes.
Hey, at least you're honest.
I am honest about that. I mean, I'm not to the level, and I'll put it into the forefront. I'm not to the level of Vinny Guadagnino on the Jersey Shore, where she's cutting the Italian. No, we're not to that level, but it's getting there. But no, I mean, I think it comes down to like this. I think it's the two F's here, Michelle. And I think you can equate with this. It's family and it's foundation. The two key components, family and foundation, and staying positively proactive, being involved with the kids. And first of all, that time does fly. The son is now involved with the girlfriend and stuff. The years. Man, where do they go? Where do they go? Right?
Yes. It literally it flies, and it's like, this isn't their first girlfriend. They've had other girlfriends, but it's like getting into that. It's like, oh my goodness. I remember the first time they've had a girlfriend. It's like, I had kids early, so it's like I can't judge them, but at the same time, I want to make sure that they know that my life wasn't easy. Having a kid at a young age, having kids at young age it's not easy. So I always instill that into them, make sure that they know, like, hey guys, around this time right now is whenever I got pregnant. Don't do it. It's like, I'm not going to help you. I'll help them, obviously, but it's something that, they have to know. And they're like, Mom, no, from what you've told us, no, thanks. We'll wait. I'm like, good. That's what I want. You just wait. Enjoy your life. And not saying that I didn't enjoy it. If I were to have, go back and change anything, I don't think I would. I don't think I would want to. I like my life the way it is now. I am 31 years old. I have a 16, a 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old. I'm done. So it's like all my other friends are going to be having kids at like 50. You want to do that? That's fine. But I'm not doing it. I already got the hard part out of the way, making sure that, they have a solid foundation and they're learning, great things. So I already got that hard part out of the way. My life is so much easier now, not stating or not telling anybody go have kids at a young age. It's different for everybody, but the way I handled it and the way my dad raised me, he wasn't the type that's going to sit here and be like, oh, let me watch your kid for you while you go and have fun. Nope. He was like, you're taking care of your own child. That's what you wanted to do. That's what's going to happen. So that's something that, it was hard for me, but you know what? I made it happen, and I did. I had a lot of help, from family, but at the same time, my school also helped out with free daycare, which not a lot of schools do that, but they did help. I didn't want to finish high school, but after I had my child, after I had my kids, it's like I have to. This is something that I have to do for myself and for my kids, because I have some other people looking up to me. So it's like, I'm definitely going to finish for them, go to college, make sure that everything gets done, because I want to make sure that I can provide for my kids. And it's not easy. Kids are expensive, especially nowadays. I had, cheap shit. My kids ask for $200 to $400 pair of shoes. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me do that for you. But I got 3 kids. So it's like 3 kids asking for that much shit. And it's like, it's hard, but that's why my kids work for their own stuff. Cause they're like, well, Mom, we see how hard you work and we see how hard Dad works. And we want to make sure that you guys are able to get what you want to get while you're getting us what we want to get.
I absolutely adhere to that, because I had a friend who was actually one of my coworkers that I used to work with back on Long Island, New York. She had gotten pregnant at a young age and during high school. And I mean, she's another one who graduated well as well. with child. And I can respect that too, because not only does it instill the values and the overall moral compass, if you will, that goes into overall discipline in raising your children. What I admire about that too, as well, is that I think with anybody, like having the child work and just go out there and just, again, the overall foundation of it. What I love too about it too, as well, is, I mean, we're very expensive. Like, I think you can attest to this. Like when I was in high school, like I had mostly like the flip phones before we had the smartphones. Now you had a little flip phone, the Razor's Edge, if you will, the Edge, the Razors, my goodness, back in the day. But it's stuff like that where you just had the phone and there was really no internet. You could get $1.25 if you want to download some ringtones, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. Like we didn't have what we have now, and social media was very non-existent. I mean, we had MySpace and Tom, but we didn't have the Facebook and whatnot. All right, and we'll put this to the forefront, because this one and I were talking about our youth and rekindling it, so to speak, with our favorite jams, if you will, jams that we both enjoyed. So MySpace, man, put on some Iman. Don't want you back. Fuck you, you hoe. Don't want you back. Type of.
I can't believe that we would sing that. I honestly
don't mean shit now.
We're singing some of these songs. I remember being in the car and my dad putting these songs on, and we're just like singing them word for word. And I don't remember. I didn't know what any of it meant, but I remember word for word saying everything. And my dad's sitting there singing the songs too. And it's like, we were just so innocent in singing the worst part of those songs. But honestly, I mean, I sing them now and I'm like, oh, or I'm thinking, I listen to them now and I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. I never knew that. There's some things that I just recently learned what it meant. And I'm like, oh.
Prime example. Look at the 90s. Like I was born in 92. So I think you can also equate to this, Michelle. So we'll take it to our 90s babies out here that are listening to this portion of the show. So yes, not only do we talk about LFC on this show, folks, and the combative natures, we will get into some pop culture and we will talk about some cakes, like we're friggin' Cedric the Entertainer in a haunted house. I can't have that cake. I got diabetes. For those that remember a haunted house with Cedric the Entertainer and Marlon Wayans. I digress. I know I'm a nerd. So taking it back to the 90s babies, look at it like in 97, right? Like I was 5 years old when the great Next, RL, I'm talking about Tweety, I'm talking about T-Lo, I'm talking about Too Close. Baby, when we're grinding, I get so excited. I sang that when I was 5. Mark Morrison's Return of the Mac, I was 4. Return of the Mac, oh Lord, like these songs came out when we were young. I could equate it to like, look at kids in the 80s going into the early 90s and being a teenager in the 90s. When Color Me Bad came out with I Want to Sex You Up to the Heart TikTok, You Don't Stop off the New Jack City soundtrack. That's what equated to, like O-Town. Yes, we'll go the O-Town, or We Fit Together, talking about, you can't separate us, we fit together. I want to go all night, ain't no stop until the breaking of the dawn. B44, which was a Canadian pop group. If you get down on me, I'll get down on you. Want to make you come tonight, pause over to my house. Like 8 years old. This is what we had, ladies and gentlemen.
Word for word.
Word for word. It is, but it's stuff that sticks out. Like, if you really look at it, like Christina Aguilera, like we all love Christina, amazing voice. Like when she was on the Mickey Mouse Club singing friggin' Tony Braxton's Another Sad Love Song. And we got to see like the young ages of the Christinas, the Britneys, and where they led to in their trajectory, right? It's like when you have Christina Aguilera singing Genie in a Bottle, I Gotta Rub You the Right Way. Mind you, amazing video, very sensual, very the vibes, if you will. But when you're 7 years old, you don't know what "gotta rub me the right way" means. You think she's just talking about a genie. I want to go put on some Aladdin, goddammit. No, that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about this virginity.
Exactly. Oh man, that's
they slip it in on us, man. Then we get to where we're older, and it's like, what the hell were we singing?
Or Genuine, no. Pony, my pony.
Pony? Oh my goodness.
I honestly was thinking in my head, like, oh, he's riding a pony here. Honestly, the whole time I thought it was a woman singing. I didn't even realize that.
That's
even worse.
Okay, so here's it's funny you bring up Genuine. And first of all, the fact that, and somebody put this out there, and stop making us feel old, ladies and gentlemen, Differences came out like 23 years ago, and that was one of his biggest hits. And I remember watching that video debut on 106 in Park, BET's Top 10 Live with Free and AJ. Stop it. Stop it. But also at the same time, like one of my earliest memories, I don't know if you remember this hit by Genuine. So 99, this was the So Anxious album, his sophomore album.
Oh, yeah. So Anxious, yeah.
Yes. I remember, remember Ain't None of Your Friends' Business, Ain't None of Your Friends' Business. That was the song that he had at the time. Remember Ain't None of Your Friends' Business? No? Nah.
I probably have to hear it in order to.
It was a ballad. That was one of the first videos I did. He did like the pop lock it in, and he's got.
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, I bet you the pop. But there you go. That's what we had, and you and I had this discussion, and I had to bring this into the forefront because one of my dudes, he's a fellow podcaster. His name is Chris Durham. Shout out to Moneymaker Chris. Chris and I have this conversation, like you and I have had this conversation. Many of us have had this conversation. Today's music does not hold up to what we grew up with. It could be the meaning. It could just be like just the abundance level of non-social media, but the abundance of actually showcasing your talents, going to the record labels and not having everything, hopefully it goes viral on YouTube. There's a different way of discipline and how you were brought up into the record business and the music industry compared to what we have now. The trajectory and it's evolved, but it's like you try putting on TRL now, which MTV tried to do, but MTV is more based towards the reality shows now with the Catfish and the Teen Moms. It's like you put on TRL now, it's like, fuck it, I'll just go to the YouTube channel and watch it. Like, why do I need a top 10 countdown? But in the 90s and 2000s, when you don't have that, it's essential. And then, I mean, they kind of broke when they started getting to like the celeb reality stuff. And then here comes Rock of Love and Daisy Love and I Love New York and Flavor of Love, Flavor Flav and whatnot. Yes. So you start to see it dwindle because of the reality shows. And I mean, yes, we can make fun of the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, so to speak, but we had our Flavor of Loves, we had our Rock of Loves, we had our abundance, so to speak.
Oh yeah, definitely Flavor Flav. I can't even see it. I was like, this is not real. This can't be not Flavor Flav. People fighting over Flavor Flav.
And that the infamous spit, pumpkin just right.
Oh yeah.
I remember seeing that as a 13-year-old because this is 05, right? 06. And I'm like, this woman literally just spit on this woman on national television.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. You see the reality shows and you expect like cat fights and like verbal stuff like we've talked about, but it's just like this woman literally spit right this woman's face. And it was a perfect shot. It was a perfect shot.
So gross.
Oh, it's gross. I
definitely see that video it pulls up every now and again on my social media, and people are commenting like, wow, that's illegal. She will go to jail for that. That's assault.
Oh my goodness. But that's the stuff. Well, that's what I'm talking about also with characters. Like we talk about discipline and we talk about raising people and how the moral fiber. First of all, if you want to talk about cowardice, that is a cowardice thing. If you're in a fight, if you're unfortunately in a fight or a verbal skirmish, don't spit in a person's face. That's just cowardice. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's like we talked about bullies before, and it's funny like you brought that up because as someone I could speak it, and this is we've touched upon this deep into the show as well, Michelle. So I will bring it to the forefront. It's like I remember when I was a kid, right? So I had a cousin that she worked at a delicatessen. So a lot of my lunches, so to speak, it wasn't I used to buy lunch. I used to have a lot of sandwiches. Give me a ham and egg cheese sandwich. Give me some bologna. Give me some salami. I'm a happy young man. But when you're doing that and you're not going to get friggin' chicken tenders in the friggin' lunchroom or whatever the thing was, and mind you, I love me some chicken tenders, but chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, whatever the fuck it is. To put it bluntly, chicken. Just give me some chicken and I'm happy, gosh darn it. That's the thing. It's like I used to get made fun of for sandwiches. It's like, hey man, why you got the sandwiches? Because it's good. I like sandwiches. It's good. Like it's food. I like sandwiches, but it's stuff like that. We see that even in today's society. If you don't have the coolest trends with social media, if you don't have this, especially with how cyberbullying is now, it's unfortunate to see. It really is. There's some good, but a lot of that negativity, man, it's unfortunate. It really is for today's day and age and the kids growing up, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with clothing and shoes. My daughter, she's in this stage of every time she gets out of school, I go to pick her up and she's walking so weird. And I'm like, Mia, why are you walking like that? She did you hear her? She said, hey, don't say that about me. So she walked so weird. And I'm like, why are you walking like that? And she's like, I don't want you to. No, baby, I'm on. She's like, she's like, why? Or I'm like, why are you walking like? She goes, because I don't want to crease my shoes. I'm like, what's wrong with creasing your shoes? That's why we bought them for you to wear them. And she's like, they're just badly creased. I don't like them. So I'm just like, what does it matter if other people say something about creased shoes? She's like, well, I don't want to be looked at. I'm like, oh God. So that's my point as a parent. Like, I have to instill into my kids that sometimes some of that crap doesn't matter, but it's hard to do that whenever that other parents, not every other parent does stuff like that. They don't teach their kids that it's bad to talk about what other people wear. We grew up on uniform shirts. My kids don't have to wear uniform shirts. So it leaves them in more of a place to get bullied, because what if they like dinosaur shirts? I make fun of my boys and I'm like, hey, so this school year, are we doing dinosaur shirts? And they're like, Mom, we're in high school. No. And they're like, definitely not doing dinosaur shirts. I was like, are we sure? My son used to have one that had a pizza with boxing gloves on it, and then a burger with boxing gloves, and they were fighting. And so I bring that one up all the time. I'm like, are you sure we're not doing a boxing shirt like that? And they're like, Mom, no, we're not wearing that stuff. I'm like, okay, fine. Grow up then. We got more shirts over there.
That's awesome. That's really good. I like that. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's what we, with the aesthetics too. It's like, for me, like, I was so simple, man. Not just like having wrestling shirts and tap out t-shirts just because I liked MMA and wrestling, but I remember just like, if you give me just like, all right, here's how my style and aesthetic was. If you give me a shirt that has like crosses on it, I had a couple that had like skull and crossbones. I know I was very into like the crosses or just like that. And for me, it was just, I thought it was cool from the rock aesthetic, because you can really equate it to music and different stuff and what you're really into from the visual standpoint and what really appeals to the eye, visually speaking, right? But for me, most of my stuff was like crosses and stuff, just because of not only my faith, just because of the fact, like, I was so instilled just on my beliefs and what I believe in and putting that good energy into the world. So I always try to do with aesthetic and style, and especially with how I, can really convey myself within the show and the message. I always look at it as, no matter what you wear, no matter what you say, everything can affect and you can gravitate towards people. In life, it's evoking emotions, it's eliciting reactions, right? So if you put out the right reactions and emotions, so to speak, and they're just taking me over, Destiny's Child, Bee Gees, yes. So I look at it like this: if you put it to the right emotions, that sweet, sweet emotion, you got me feeling emotions, I got to stop. But if you put that emotions into the universe, that good karma will come to you. So that's really what you manifest and put out into the universe with whatever you do, internally, externally, style, finesse, what have you.
Definitely. I agree. I definitely agree on that.
Now, I will say this, ma'am, speaking of us agreeing a lot, I will put this into the forefront because I do have a couple final things I want to ask you before we close this bad boy out. Thank you not only for coming on, but thank you for giving your side and perspective. It was a joy listening to you, joy talking to you about your cakes, talking to you about the pop culture phenomena that we had growing up. I definitely would love to have you back on for a round two. The overture is here.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm definitely more than willing to be on. Like I said, too, if she's willing to come on together, I could definitely do it too.
We can definitely set up a face-to-face, or we can definitely something up solo, but I appreciate it absolutely. And I will say this before we even do get to our final questions: is thank you for coming on my shitty podcast. Had to say it one more time. You're totally see that's the thing. You and I can joke about this, folks, and you see, I'm not bothered, I'm not upset, I'm not hurt. I thought it was funny. Just
yeah. Or it could have been like, or I could have just blocked you and been like, okay, I'm not gonna message them back because this is embarrassing. No, I did I wanted to explain my part and what I meant by that, because it definitely was not to you at all. It's towards her, all of it.
I'm gonna tell you what I felt like. I'm gonna put this into the forefront, and this is how hardcore this woman is. We mentioned the badassery and the hardcore from your combative natures, and just being a badass mom and family woman. Let's put that into the forefront as well. That deserves the most sincerity and respect. Well, let me tell you what I felt like, folks, when she said that. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. It's my goddamn podcast. We're gonna put it out here. I literally felt like 96. All eyes were on her, and all eyes were on me. Fuck you and the clique you claim. I legit felt like Tupac getting insulted. You claim to be a player, but I fuck your wife. I was Biggie in the scenario, folks. She hit me up. She hit me up. Oh my goodness.
That was too funny. I didn't even think of it like that. And then as soon as you said it, I was like, damn. That came out so bad. I am so sorry. So at first, whenever you stated what you stated, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, mic drop. I was like, dang. So he doesn't want me on his shitty podcast.
See how it is.
But then I was like, no. I read it. He's being funny. I'm gonna be funny about it too, and just obviously know that I'm sorry about that because this is definitely not what I meant.
You're cool with me. You live up to the Sweet's name of Miss Texas Sweet. You're a sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're cool with me. So, a couple final things before we close this thing out. What I always love to ask a lot of the women on the show, folks, too, is we always talk about the internal and external beauty. We talk about the real deal sex appeal of the lingerie, the L of the lingerie fighting championships. The ladies have discussed their style and their aesthetic when it comes to lingerie and feeling sexy. Some of them like a little goth style with some little chains on them, like they're a rocker coming straight out of Hot Topic. Some of them love the elegance and the lace of the Victoria's Secret and just the formal aspect. And some of them just like to go buck wild. And yes, I'm putting that to the forefront. So I got to ask you, being the woman that you are, and a beautiful one at that, Miss Michelle Losa, I got to ask you, from the lingerie and the style finesse kind of vibes, and you may be like Soul Decision, kind of feeling faded, but you feel all right. Tell us, what is some of the lingerie that you're into? Whether a little black, little lace. What is some of the style that Michelle likes as far as the lingerie style? Because we've had so many great answers on that style.
Yeah, most definitely. So usually, honestly, I mean, at this point, so my husband always is like, why do you spend so much on lingerie? I'm just going to take it. It's just going to come off. Why do you even wear it? So some of the time I'm pretty buck wild on my times, but there's times where I'm more of a I like the look of it, and I'm more of a give massage type, so I want to be wearing something pretty nice. So more of lace type things, see through, but I like bright colors because I'm so white complected. You probably can't tell right now, but I'm so white complected, so I like the bright colors. Or my clothing usually is either black or gray. Those are my favorite colors, but I could do a black, like lacy type deal. But my husband doesn't like stockings, so it's like, I like stockings. He doesn't like stockings. So it's like, whatever you like, babe. And then I was like, I bought you something. He's like, what'd you buy me? And I'm like, well, it's my lingerie. He's like, that's not buying me shit. What do you mean? He's like, I'd rather have it off.
That is the typical male answer. That is the typical male answer.
But yeah, more of a lace type gal, see-through type usual, but color more. I like to gravitate towards blue, like the name, like how my name is outlined there. I don't know if you could see it on your end, but yeah, that type of blue, bright blue. I love that.
Don't even. All right, I'm gonna tell a story just because this woman mentioned blue, and this is again more connection here because my favorite color as well is blue. So I'll put this into the forefront. So this is where it comes back to the mama's boy story, folks. So when my mom used to go out with my grandmother and my aunt, God rest their souls, and my grandfather, God rest his soul. So when they would go out and I would have like another family member would be watching me, or I would be at the house alone with whatever. So every time that they would go out, like if it was like a Friendly's or an Applebee's, right? Let's just say those type of eating establishments, right? Mm-hmm. They always had balloons. When you come in, you see the balloons and the kids would get the balloons. And I would always say, Mom, if you're going to go there, I want a blue balloon. And every time that she would come back, she would get me a blue balloon. That's what I'm saying. It's the little things, people. That's the blue balloon. It's the little things. Yeah. I concur. But yes, no, first of all, that is a great choice of lingerie. And I think what's also very empowering about it, especially with the lingerie fighting championships and lingerie in general, it just showcases more empowering, the beautiful standpoint, the external beauty, and just overall sex appeal, and just overall just fun, man. Just there's nothing like great fun with lingerie, the stockings, like you mentioned, the style finesse, the sensual seduction, if you will, to quote the great B-O-double-G. But there's so many things that go into it, and I think that's wonderful. I think you got good taste. Let's put that to the forefront.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And before we close this out, I always love asking this question as well, because I know you're not a fighting expert of 20 years. You haven't been in the trenches. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. But in this particular standpoint, you just really having the knowledge that you have, helping with training and training your kids, which is wonderful. What advice would you give to a lot of people that want to get into the combative nature? You've done Redneck, Brawl, that really want to get into and learn about the boxing, the discipline, the overall conditioning, the overall everything that goes into the work regimen, the acumen, the accoutrement, if you will. What's some advice that you would give to anybody that wants to pursue and gravitate towards that?
Well, growing up, whenever I used to actually physically box, that actually helped me with a lot of things. Issues that I had in my family, issues that I had at school. I had a lot of anger. It really did help me with anger. And honestly, boxing, I feel like, because I loved to play basketball, I loved all types of sports. Basketball was my other thing. I loved basketball. So we had to do running. And so honestly, with that, boxing had gotten us ready for just about any sport that you can think of. So we were always on top, always, being played more of the time because we hardly got tired. Boxing is a very hard sport. And it helps with, like I said, with anger, with issues that you have maybe at home. I'm not saying that, I would never, teach our kids and then say, hey, go use this to go beat somebody up or anything like that. It's never anything like that. It's always of, this is your place where you leave all your problems here, leave them here. And pretty much just use this as your sanctuary of just, just leaving all your problems here. It helped me through a lot. Even honestly, staying in shape. Boxing is really hard. A lot of people don't realize, a lot of people that comment, they're always like, oh, it's only a minute, or I can do this. Until you really do it, then you'll realize that it's not very easy. 1 minute in a ring, it feels like, 5 minutes while you're in there. So honestly, I feel like, any type of advice that anybody, try it before you comment on it. Cause that's something that a lot of people like to do. They like to comment before they've even tried anything. And it's not easy, but it really has helped me through a lot of things. And it's also helping my kids through a lot of things too. Opening up more, or not, you're a quiet type of person, go to the gym, hit the bag, and it helps you relieve a lot of stress. Instead of going and getting in trouble, going to fight somebody because you had a bad day or something, go hit a bag. The bag's not going to get hurt. You might, if you don't hit it right. But I definitely love the sport of boxing and training other kids so that they could relieve that stress and take all their problems out on a bag instead of hurting themselves or anything in that nature. I think boxing is a very good sport to get into. But it's not easy. It's very hard.
I will say this from someone who, like yourself, who's very multifaceted, whether it comes into the world of boxing, being a great mom, being a great sweets, being a baker, get that sweets yummy in the tummy, if you will, like today's form. I think anything that you're going to do, I cannot wait to see you not only continue to strive and thrive to put that onto the forefront, but I think we're going to see just a lot of great things come your way, and I think the future is bright. Adhere to those words, and I got to tell you, I hope to see you in Redneck Brawl again for round 2. I hope to see you in LFC if that does come into fruition as well, if that piques your interest, man, because we got a lot of good stuff going here. I think you do well in either ways, and especially now, I'm sure if the LFC audience just listened to this one talk about the see-through lingerie, I think we just put a mental image in people's minds, just the beauty, the bronze, the overall style, the finesse that don't make no sense. We got a regular Bruno Mars over here, huh?
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And hopefully I look forward to doing any of this stuff again. It's fun. That's what it's for. It's fun.
Fun and entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where I step back as well. If you want to promote the social medias, please feel free. I know you're doing your thing on Instagram. Where can we follow you?
So my Instagram would be my M Sweets page. I don't have it pulled up. Give me a second.
Right, we've had this before too, where some of the girls would forget their social medias, and it's totally fine. Go ahead. And well, here's the thing: we keep track of a lot of our social medias, folks, and some of us don't remember because we have so many different platforms that we got. This is what we do nowadays. This is how we promote our
Exactly. So yeah. So my M Sweets page, is _MS_sweets_23. That is my M Sweets page. Now I do have a second Instagram, and that's my boxing Instagram. So that's where I usually I mostly follow like boxing equipment, boxing stuff, boxing pages, stuff like that, or professional boxers, stuff like that. So my boxing page would for my assistant coach part in that would be coach_Michelle_boxing. So that would be that. And then my Instagram or my Facebook is just under Michelle Loza. So it's not under Michelle Rodriguez. It'd be under my married last name. So Loza, Loza.
And the links will be in the description. Give this woman a follow, folks. She gives you cake. She gives you boxing. She gives you training. She gives you the whole lot of, oh my goodness. Yes. So the links
will be Tiffany, then I give you ass whooping too.
Oh, dang, there it is.
Just kidding, or maybe not. I don't know.
She is so coy, ladies and gentlemen. She is so coy. And on that note, I will say this. If you want to see this fine program, you know I'm repping the shirt. You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. LFCfights.com. Go to the VIP section and check out Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, where you will see that grill and this grill doing our thing on this podcast, and so many great events. LFC 40 just happened with LFC 40 Booty Camp 5 and LFC 41 Lingerie Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club. All right, maybe you can if it's in lingerie. You might want to speak, but I would recommend you shush. Anyway, I digress. Check out LFCfights.com. Subscribe to Mike Larkin 92 on YouTube, where this show will also be in many different various audio platforms. There's so many to name. Links will be in the description. Visualize, but don't attack like Bobby Boucher and the Waterboy. Everything will be there for you. So on that very note, as I always say to end each and every one of these shows, life is an art form, and we're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And as the title of the show says, much like my mindset, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Michelle Loza, Miss Texas Sweets. I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a shitty podcast.
Of course not.
Bye, everybody.